Hello everybody and welcome back. As always, I am Mateo311 and this is your channel for everything VR related. So today, we're going over the best looking VR games of all time. Now I understand that looks are not everything, but there's just something magical about a VR game with amazing graphics. It just sucks you in and it's so immersive. Now if you're thinking these are all going to be PCVR titles, you're wrong. I have titles from every single platform to go over. Now there are of course links and timestamps if you want to skip ahead, but before we jump in, this video is brought to you by my sponsor, Kiwi Design. Kiwi has accessories for all of your favorite headsets, and they finally started releasing some new products for the Quest 3. On screen we have their brand new extra comfy Quest 3 Elite strap. I've been using head straps from Kiwi for years now, and they're hands down my favorite. If you previously had one for the Quest 2, they now offer a conversion kit, so with a few quick snaps, you could continue to use that same head strap on your brand new headset. There's a link to Kiwi down in the description, and don't forget to use discount code Mateo311 for 5% off and to help support my channel. Now this video is loosely in ascending order, meaning games will just get better and better looking as we move forward. This is, however, a highly subjective topic, so you might think one game looks better than the other. That's fine by you. And on that point, towards the end of the video, I'm actually gonna just point out a few of my personal favorites that you guys might not think are actually some of the best looking games. I'll also cover topics like mods, and I have a really special title that I'm saving for the end that I'm sure you guys have not had your mind blown by this game just yet. Okay, so let's start things off with Assassin's Creed Nexus. Assassin's Creed Nexus is one of the few standalone games to make it onto today's list. Ubisoft made sure not to betray this beloved title and gave it a deep storyline, fantastic gameplay mechanics, and obviously some excellent graphics. The game features large, open, densely populated worlds, an excellent usage of lighting and shadows, plus some much higher resolutions and texture qualities than we're used to seeing from mobile VR. Now, it's definitely not the best looking game on today's list, but it's an excellent example of what the Quest 3 is capable of. Now, if you prefer realism and you're the outdoorsy type, Kayak VR is absolutely stunning. This title is close to photorealism, and it doesn't matter if you're on PCVR or the PlayStation VR 2, the graphics on this title are highly immersive and will suck you right in. There's an unbelievable combination of water effects, lighting, and reflections here. So if you're missing the ocean or the outdoors during these next few winter months, Kayak VR might be an excellent escape for you. But who wants to stay grounded when you could take to the air with Microsoft Flight Simulator? Now, of course, this game is not for everyone, and simulators tend to be an acquired taste, but you can't deny just how gorgeous this game is. You get to fly around the world and experience all the natural beauty that's out there, plus the greatest industrial achievements of mankind. So if you're someone who enjoys sightseeing, now you can do it with a flyby in virtual reality. But let's take flight sims to the next level and blast off into space with Elite Dangerous. This classic and highly addictive PC title works and looks unbelievably good in VR. Experiencing the rapid approach of a planet while you're traveling at insane speeds, or the flashes of weaponry during combat, it all looks stunning in VR and adds to the overall immersion. If you enjoy this type of title, it might be the only game you need in VR for years, and during that time, I guarantee it'll still look great every single time you turn it on. And now the only thing left after space travel is going through time in Wanderer. This time-traveling puzzle title takes you to multiple exotic locations throughout history. You'll get first-hand experience of ancient cultures, the moon landing, World War II code breaking, and even a post-apocalyptic flooded future America. Now what makes all of this truly shine is the high fidelity and excessive attention to detail. The Wanderer is already stunning in its current state, but they also have the massive Fragments of Fate overhaul coming, which is designed to make the game look even better, so I can't wait for this one. Now another recent release that I was eagerly awaiting for was Red Matter 2. Developers Vertical Robot really know how to tweak the Unreal Engine to get the best performance out of VR, making visuals on the Quest look absolutely great, and going all the way to mind-blowing when you get to the PlayStation VR 2. This puzzle title has it all from a compelling storyline, highly challenging puzzles, and of course plenty of eye candy. They really pushed some hardware to its limits and included some effects that we rarely ever see in VR. But if puzzle titles aren't for you and you want to crank up the action, we have Crossfire Sierra Squad. Right out of the gates, the graphics in this game will make you say, wow. The immersion is also helped along by just how good all of the guns feel. Now, unfortunately though, when you do get into the game, a lot of it is basically a gallery shooter, which did disappoint me a bit. However, it's still a lot of fun to jump in with your buddies. I just wish we had some Michael Bay style explosions to go along with this game's incredible graphics. And luckily though, that's what Starwars Squadrons delivered for me. This game is a dream come true for any Star Wars fans, because you get to jump into the cockpit of true-to-life starfighters. Everything from the macro to the micro is done so well in this game. Alien worlds, character models, and starfighters look incredible, but there's also plenty of little details and special effects that just make this game stand out. Even if the multiplayer has mostly dried up, I still recommend you pick this up for the single player campaign and for some fun co-op with a buddy. Now, if you prefer to stay grounded, we have Gran Turismo 7, easily one of the most popular and best looking racing games, did an amazing job of bringing their title to VR. The graphics and immersion are exceedingly better from a VR perspective, and you get to experience every detail and just how true to life these cars are up close and personal. Even if you're not a fan of sim racers like myself, there's just something truly captivating about this game that sucks you right in. Similar to our next title, Horizon Call of the Mountain. Now, if you're familiar with the Horizon series, you know that these titles can be breathtaking with some truly unique environments and enemy characters. There's a truly unique blend of tribalism with advanced robotics and these extremely lush environments. While Call of the Mountain has you climbing throughout all of this world, witnessing some truly stunning vistas, and getting up close and personal with some ferocious robots. It's a highly captivating and truly stunning experience from beginning to end. But I have to say, I think I enjoyed the alien world of Hubris just a little bit more. Hubris is one of the few VR games that absolutely made my jaw drop, and I had to stop my gameplay for a few minutes and just take in the world. Surfacing from underwater and then experiencing a beautiful alien world has become a truly unforgettable VR moment for me. I remember watching the announcement trailer of this game thinking, no way the game will ever look that good, and by the time it launched, it actually ended up looking even better. Now, overall, it's a good adventure title with solid mechanics throughout, but the true standout is this game's beauty. But ugly things can also be beautiful, and that's why Resident Evil Village is so high on today's list. The Resident Evil series features creatures that'll give you the chills on flat screen, but when you drop down into VR, it's taken to a whole new level, and I understand how this game could be too scary or immersive for some people. Little things like navigating dark environments with only a flashlight sounds like your standard VR horror setting, but it's surprisingly hard to pull off in VR and keep the detail level high. Resident Evil Village manages to do it, and now you get to see every blood stain, bits of gore, clawed hands, and fangs up close and personal. Resident Evil Village turns grotesquerie into an art form. But jumping back into a world that's a little bit less creepy, we have the Lone Echo series. This game features some of the highest detailed characters and environments. You're once again in space, a fantastic setting for a VR title, but now you'll be stepping out for a spacewalk, which is a truly unforgettable VR experience. It's hard not to stop and admire certain details like distant planets, or some other effects like the glare from the sun. Now, all this detail ties in fantastically with the game's amazing storyline, and you'll get to see highly immersive moments like true fear on the faces of characters, and also some really wacky WTF moments when some space anomalies happen to occur. Now, at this point, it's honestly getting hard to top the graphics of Lone Echo, but there's two titles that definitely surpass it, and the first one is the original Asgard's Wrath. This 40+ hour RPG allows us to experience Asgard and some of the other realms like never seen before. Not only are the characters and environments top notch, but Asgard's Wrath also knew how to use VR to its strengths and plays a lot with scale. This is seen as both a gameplay mechanic, where you could jump from mortal to godlike view to help solve some puzzles, but it's also done exceedingly well during their cutscenes. Now, when it comes to VR graphics, there's almost nothing that could compete with Asgard's Wrath, except of course for Half-Life Alyx. Now, I'm sure you guys knew Half-Life Alyx would be on the top of the list. It's undeniable that Valve pulled off some magic with this one, and it also runs on lower spec PCs phenomenally well. So not only is it breathtakingly stunning, but it also has great performance, which is a fantastic combination. Half-Life Alyx is easily the most detailed look into the Half-Life universe we ever got. Creatures like the Vortigaunt look better than ever, and the level of detail in every aspect of this title is truly amazing. This is honestly one of the very few VR games out there that when you look at the trailer, you don't know it's a VR game right off the bat. Now, I've made a few lists about the best VR games of all time, and the most common question I always see on those lists is, holy crap, what game is that at timestamp X? These comments always come from questers who don't know what they're missing because they've never been able to play Half-Life Alyx. But guys, that's not it. This list is not over just yet. There's a few more things I want to go over, starting with flat to VR mods. Listen, I know some of you guys were probably screaming at your monitor during this saying, well, what about the flat to VR mods? They look amazing. And you're right. But if I was to include them, this list would be 10 times longer because there's some stunning PC games out there, and then you bring them into VR and they're still stunning. Just to throw out a few, we of course have Cyberpunk 2077, looks fantastic in VR, but honestly, something like the Half-Life 2 VR mod, and now they upgraded it to the Unleashed version, that is a very old game that still looks completely stunning in VR. So yes, this list would have went on, but definitely check out those mods, and there's plenty more. I have lists. Maybe I'll poke a list up for you guys so you can check out some of the best flat to VR mods. Now, a couple games that I wanted to mention that still stand out, you probably don't think of them as graphical VR powerhouses, but when you really stop and look at them, there's a lot to admire. And those games are Moss Book 1 and 2 and Astrobot. Now, Astrobot is held back by the PlayStation 4 hardware and the old PlayStation VR 1. However, if you really analyze that game, the graphics are great, and they're another studio that knew how to utilize the technology. They play with scale, a lot of cool stuff going on there. And Moss, you got to really stop and just look at all the detail in the background, and it is a stunning game. So those are two standouts that I wanted to mention. Now, before you go, I have two future titles that I have to mention because they're also going to be great looking games. And believe it or not, I also saved the best looking game for last, and it's most likely a title you haven't even heard of. But on that coming soon list, we have Arizona Sunshine 2, which I've already posted some footage of. And trust me guys, this game looks fantastic. Now, it's not quite Half-Life 2 level, but man, does this game look great. And I just love all of the blood and guts it has to offer. Additionally, Asgard's Wrath 2 is right around the corner. And I'm sure some of you will say, well, it doesn't look as good as the original, and you're most likely right. There's only so much that mobile hardware can do, but I think it's going to be a great and beautiful game nonetheless, and I'm really looking forward to it. Okay guys, I promised I saved the best for last, and this is an absolute visual feast that I'm sure you've never played before. It's the VR experience. Yeah, shake it, baby.
And that was today's video, brought to you by my dad, Mateo311. If you enjoyed it, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here,
Consider subscribing.
consider
Consider subscribing.
consider subscribing.
Consider subscribing.
Consider subscribing.
We'll see you guys on next time.
See you guys on next time.